Hello everybody, and welcome back to week 2 of Made at Home's Sunrise Edition. Again, brought to you by Becca from the University of Georgia Extension Office in Crisp, and myself, Amy, from Public Health here with the West Central Health District in Columbus. So last week we talked about why breakfast is so important and the importance of fueling your body and what that looks like. So this week we're going to start diving into what we use to fuel our body. So if you remember last week, we talked about that energy you're fueling your body with and how you have to fuel it with the right things in order for you to be able to sustain that energy throughout the day. So this week we will be talking about our fruits and vegetables. So these guidelines come from the USDA Dietary Guidelines for Americans. These were just released for 2020 to 2025. And the recommendation is 2 cups a day of fruit and then 2.5 cups a day of vegetables. And this is for adults. If you have children, and depending on your age, if you're older or for pregnant women, there are more specific guidelines. So if you look up the USDA Dietary Guidelines for Americans, you can find more specific recommendations for your personal health needs. But in general, for adults, 2 cups a day of fruit and 2.5 cups a day of vegetables is what is recommended. So how are we going to get that into our breakfast? For fruits, these are usually pretty easy to have at breakfast time. Most fruits have a naturally sweet flavor to them, and they are great additions to really any breakfast. You can blend them into a smoothie. That's one of my personal favorites. You can add them over oatmeal or pancakes, or just have them by themselves. Fruit is really easy, and depending on what type of fruit, it can be really easy to just grab and go. Vegetables can be a little trickier. Most people don't think of grabbing a cucumber or a carrot at breakfast time, but they are actually pretty easy to sneak in. You can add a lot of vegetables to your smoothies and you won't even know. You can add spinach, carrot, cucumbers, lots of different vegetables. Just blend them up. You'll still have plenty of fruit in there, so it's still going to taste sweet. And you'll get all that important nutrients that you need from your vegetables. Another key point to bring up, a lot of people may avoid certain fruits or vegetables because they don't think they'll be able to eat it before it goes bad. So it's really important to keep track of what foods are in season, first of all. And secondly, it's super easy to get frozen fruits and vegetables. And then this allows you to add a lot more variety throughout the week without worrying about certain foods maybe going bad before you can eat them. If they're frozen, they'll stay good for a lot longer. And again, makes it super easy, especially for smoothies. You don't even have to defrost them. You just throw it into your blender and you're good to go. So that's an important thing to keep in mind for your fruits and vegetables. And again, like I mentioned before, knowing what's in season can make this affordable, as well as you'll get more flavor out of the fruits and vegetables that you have. So that's an important thing to keep in mind. And now we are going to join Becca in the kitchen in making another yummy breakfast dish.
Hey guys, welcome back to Sunrise Edition of Made at Home. Today we're going to be making oven spinach frittatas. So I'm going to make them a little bit different than what the recipe calls, as in I'm not going to make them in a big pan. I'm just going to do them in a muffin pan, so that they're easy to grab and go. So you're gonna need 10 ounces of frozen spinach. You're gonna need 6 eggs and 2 egg whites. You're gonna need 2 tablespoons of skim milk, 1/4 cup of chopped onions, 1/4 cup of shredded cheese. This calls for sharp cheddar. I'm gonna use a little bit different. So put in your preference of cheese. Then you also are gonna need salt and pepper. And then if you want to add a little spice, you can add in some cayenne pepper or a dash of hot sauce in it. So you're gonna want your oven to preheated to 400 degrees, and let's get started pulling it together. So we're gonna whisk our eggs together so that we break those yolks. Then we're gonna take our spinach that has just been de-thawed, and we're gonna put it into our eggs. I'm gonna set this bowl out of our way. We're gonna put our de-thawed spinach into our egg wash. So once we've kind of whisked that, we're gonna add our milk in. Gonna add our spices in. Gonna add our onions. So you can add onions. You can remove the onions if you don't need them or you're allergic. But you can also add in some mushrooms, bell peppers, chopped broccoli. You could add in all kinds of things. So it just depends on what you are wanting in that. But this is a great way to get some of those vegetable servings into your meals during the day. So lastly, we're gonna add in our cheese. We're gonna mix it all in. So you want to stir it until it's all combined. And then once it's all combined, that's when we're going to put it into our pan here. So these are going to take about 25 minutes to cook or until they're slightly golden. So we're going to evenly, so if you're just doing it in the 8x8 pan, you don't have to evenly distribute it. You just dump it in and you're good. But I'm gonna do it in this muffin tin, and all the muffin tin does is it just makes it, the little quick servings, gives each piece its own little coating to make the outside crispy and the inside soft. And so it's just one way that you can make breakfast easy to grab in your house. So this is one of our recipes that comes from our Food E-Talk. So if you type in Food E-Talk either on Facebook or on your web browser, it will take you there and you can find all kinds of different blogs and recipes on healthy eating throughout your house. So this is, stick them in the oven and then we'll check back on them. Guess what's out of the oven? Our spinach frittatas. So we're just gonna dump them on our clean countertop. Got a cooling rack, pull it out, and we'll let them cool, and then they are perfectly ready to grab and go for your breakfast. Talk about smoothies. So the recipe that we've got, it's our Food E-Talk, and it's the strawberry smoothie. So this one has strawberries. Great time of year. Your strawberries are coming out of the fields fresh. So great time of year to eat strawberries. But it also has spinach, bananas, yogurt, milk, and cinnamon. So we've got our milk and our cinnamon already in our blender cup. We've got our spinach here, we've got our bananas and our strawberries, and then we've got our yogurt. So one rule of thumb to kind of follow when you're making a smoothie is if you can't sit there and consume that amount of food in a sitting, then it really shouldn't be in your smoothie like that. So this is a great way to get nutrition into your system through fruits and vegetables because you can add it all together. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna add our banana in here. So our banana's frozen, our strawberries are frozen. We're gonna add in our spinach. And then lastly, we're gonna add in our yogurt. So you can make this a dairy option, you can make it vegan, you can kind of do with it what you want. You can use fresh spinach, you can use frozen spinach, you can use fresh fruit, frozen fruit. The difference is it might make it a little bit thicker if you use the frozen. So, I am doing it in a 1 serving size cup. If you've got a big blender, you can make the full recipe and be able to serve multiple people. Or cut it down to being able to just serve yourself. And that way you've got the cup that you're gonna drink out of is all that you get dirty. So we've got our smoothie all blended up. You can add this to having a muffin. You can add it to that baked oatmeal that we had this month. Or you can just drink the smoothie as is. It's a great breakfast, but it's also a great grab and go snack as well. So whichever works best for you, enjoy your smoothie and make it smart. Enjoy the fresh fruits that are coming out of the fields at this time of the year. Thanks for joining this episode of Made at Home Sunrise Edition.